Next speaker is Ms. Haritha Rajeev. She is currently working as a PhD student in physics in University of Virginia, USA. She did a BS and MS from Indian Institute of Scientific Education and Research, Pune. She did her schooling from Calicut. Her father, Dr. N.E. Rajiv, did his PhD and is now a retired associate professor, HOD Physics from Zamrin's Guruvayurpan College, Calicut. Her mother, Mrs. Sindhu, is working as a senior assistant at National Insurance Company Limited, Kozhikode. She has an elder sister who did MD and DMB in pulmonary medicine, Government TB Hospital, Karaikudi. Ma'am, we are honored to have you here with us. Over to you.
Thank you, Dia. First of all, a big thanks to Muhammad Ashraf sir and all the coordinators of Team to Talk for giving me this opportunity to talk in this series. I'll introduce myself again. I'm Haritha. I'm a native of Calicut, Kerala. Currently, I'm doing my PhD in University of Virginia in United States. My topic of research is physics and my subfield is condensed matter physics. My supervisor's name is Professor Shenkangli. I work on developing and analyzing materials, potential materials for photovoltaic applications like solar cells. I did my bachelor's and master's from Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research, Pune, or IISER Pune. I was planning to talk more about IISER during for this talk session. I'm sure that IISER was instrumental in fulfilling my childhood desire to pursue a career in research or to become a scientist. During my childhood, I looked up to my father, who is a physics professor in a college in Kerala. He was also a PhD scholar. He did his PhD in Inter-University Accelerator Center in Delhi. When he did his PhD, I was in my high school. So during our vacations, we used to go to Delhi and spend that time there for like 1 to 2 months. And I used to go to his lab, see what he is working on, explore, see the instruments, touch them. And that's when I realized how interesting it is to be in a research field. And I used to talk with some of his co-researchers, which was also very inspiring. So during my 10th standard, so in a society, it is a very important juncture to choose your field of interest. So I used to tell my parents that I want to pursue a career in pure science because my father is also in that field. So I knew how it works. I knew the basic structure. And I used to tell my parents that I need to pursue a career in science in institutes like IISER, IISER, or NISER. And I knew about these institutes because my sister, she attempted KVPY, which is a stream, which is an exam, which is like a passport to get into institutes like IISER and NISER. So, but she chose medical field. That was her interest. But though I had this deep desire to go for pure science, in our society, if you are interested in science, then you are expected to choose a field in medicine or engineering. So that time, against my desire, I also followed the trend. Along with my friends, I went to Professor P.C. Thomas entrance coaching classes, and I did my higher secondary schooling in a residential mode. And I have to say this, though my main focus was to qualify for a medical entrance examination, the coaching and the schooling gave me a very good foundation in science. And the foundation I got was more than enough. Like it really prepared me to attempt exams like other entrance examinations for engineering, KVPY, and IISER and NISER, etc. And finally, when the time came to choose my college, there was some confusion because I got into TKM Kollam since I qualified Kerala State Engineering. But I chose medical college in Bangalore, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Medical College for MBBS degree. But I was not that satisfied with all my results, the allotment and everything. But that was I chose from my available options then. Then the moment the IISER result came, and I came to know that I qualified to IISER Pune, which was my first choice, immediately I told my parents, okay, let's withdraw this admission from the medical college. And they were also happy. They withdrew the admission because the admission process just started. It was not completed. And we withdrew the admission. And we told our decisions to our relatives and family friends. That is when a big discouragement came. Most of my relatives are not from a science background, so it's pretty understandable the lack of awareness. But I was surprised when some of my father's colleagues who were physics professors or professors in science field, some of them actually scolded my father for sending me to IISER. So that was surprising. And that's when I realized, though we have well-established institutes in India, well-established research institutes in India, the awareness we have, no matter in which field you are, what job you are doing, the awareness is very less. This was the situation then in 2013, 2014, but the situation might have changed now. But I come from a very privileged family, so my parents can easily ignore this discouragement and send me to IISER Pune. It's my privilege, I understand that, but that's when I realized if these things can emotionally affect a person coming from such a family, then how hard it is going to be for a student, especially a girl coming from an underprivileged background. Anyway, I joined IISER and I joined IISER Pune. And when I joined in 2014, there were 5 IISERs. Right now, the numbers are more. I think there are 7 IISERs now. The IISERs are autonomous institute. There might be slight differences in the course structure, but the overall general course structure and the general aim on what to achieve from a student and how to orient a student is the same. Say for in IISER Pune, for the first 2 years, you have to study all the science subjects. That's physics, maths, biology, chemistry, humanities and social science, and earth and climate science. And studying all these subjects is very important because in higher secondary, you get a very superficial idea on what all these subjects are. And as Suresh Bhatt sir said, all the science subjects are very important. So in IISER, in your first 2 years, you get a deep insight on what all these subjects are. And this will give you an idea on which subject you will really enjoy learning, which subject you can actually flourish in with your maximum capacity. So for me, after my first 2 years, I took physics as my major. I have friends who came with an interest in physics, and then during their 3rd year, they chose maths or biology as their major. And after my 4th year, then we all have to do a 1-year project on our field of interest. And we get fellowships as well. During that time, each of us gets stipends every month, either through Inspire Fellowship or KVPY Fellowship. So I was an Inspire Fellow, so I got 5,000 rupees each month. So in IISER, you have 2 streams to get into IISER. One is to write the KVPY exam, and the other one is to write the BSMS dual degree exam. So I came through that exam, BSMS dual degree exam. So that's why I was an Inspire Fellow, and I got 5,000 rupees per month. And IISER and the Inspire Fellowship also supports any summer internships you would be doing. And these summer internships are very important because the course structure in IISER is such that it orient you to become a researcher. When you graduate out of IISER, you are a budding scientist. That is how the course structure is. Only like very few students opt for a totally different degree. Like some students, I have my friends who has opted for a completely different, for a master's in a completely different subject after graduating IISER. But most of us have gone for a PhD degree because that's how the institute mold you. That's how the facilities are, and that's how the course content is. And talking about summer internships, after my first year, me and most of my friends, we did a project in IISER itself, and I did under Professor Aparna Deshpande. And after my second year, I did a project in Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, under Dr. P.S. Anil Kumar. And after my third year, that's when IISER opens you a platform to do summer internships abroad. IISER has very good student exchange programs with well-renowned institutes abroad. And those universities abroad will fund all your living if you're going for a summer internship abroad through these programs. And I did a summer internship in Pierre and Marie Curie University in Paris. And that is actually a short intro into what it will be like if you want to do a PhD abroad, because you will understand how different a culture can be from your country and how adaptable you are. So you will get an insight on that as well. And after my fourth year, I joined Dr. Surjit Singh in IISER Pune for my fifth year project. And my fifth year project mainly focused on studying the synthesis and physical properties of a material called pyrochloriridates. And my work was published on a journal called Solid State Communications. And during my fifth year, I started applying for PhD positions abroad. That's when I realized that if you want to go abroad, how important your summer internships, your research experience in the field of physics, mainly experimental physics. This could be in general true for all the experimental fields. How important your research experience is, the labs you worked in, the professor you worked under in is important, along with your grades to get a position for PhD abroad. And in IISER, we have a residential mode of learning. And the facilities we have in IISER is very high-end research facilities. And for physics and IISER itself, we had scanning electron microscopy, scanning telic microscopy. These are like very important instruments we need to pursue, to do proper research in experimental physics. And we also had good funding in IISER. And in general, in India, in BARC, you have accelerated facilities as well. So we have these facilities. And also, if you see most of the professors in IISER and Suresh Bhatt sir also, they have like good, they have done their PhD and postdoc, and they have like good collaborations internationally as well. So these internationally renowned professors are necessary, and their recommendation letters are also very valuable when you're applying for a PhD position outside. So IISER, the main aim of IISER is to take you through all these facilities, explore all the diverse options you have, and work under and be taught under these well-renowned professors, and be ready as a PhD candidate when you graduate. And I applied for PhD positions abroad, and I applied to Europe, US, and Canada. And I got positions from IFW Dresden, McMaster, Canada, and two universities from US, Florida State University and University of Virginia. I chose University of Virginia because the work there aligned with my research interest. And I joined University of Virginia in 2019. And University of Virginia is located in a place called Charlottesville. And Charlottesville is a very beautiful place. And it's not a city, it's a township built around the university. And I didn't feel a big transition moving from India to Charlottesville, because the climate-wise, culturally, there was a big transition, but climate-wise, it was okay, because in Charlottesville, you have a very pleasant climate. The climate is not harsh. And Virginia is known for its mountain. Virginia is a state of mountains. Sometimes I get the Maharashtra vibe there as well. I sometimes go for trekking as well. Coming to academics, universities support your living. I get stipend, and most of the students who go for PhD in arts and science in universities there, like me, Nasia. Nasia is also my Nasia is my junior. So we both get stipend either through teaching assistantship or research assistantship. So for me, in my university, in my first year, it was compulsory that I do teaching assistantship. And I did teaching for my first 2 years. And from my third year, I got research assistantship, and now I'm getting paid through that. And talking about my work, I mainly focus on developing materials for potential energy applications like solar cells. So solar cell is like taking light energy and converting to electrical energy. And my focus is to develop materials and analyze those materials and see how energy efficient they are, how well they can convert light energy to electrical energy with minimum energy loss. So our work is mainly funded by Department of Energy there, and we have collaborations with Oak Ridge National Laboratory and NEST. And I got an opportunity to do summer internship in Oak Ridge National Laboratory. And that experience is very valuable to me because one of my dream is to go there as a postdoc fellow. So the experience there increased my chance to get into that institute for my postdoc. And since I work on solar cells, I might get research opportunities in solar cell industries as well. So being a PhD candidate in US, I'll get a big opening into all these solar cell industries, which also like I have to explore more on that because I'm in my third year. So the diversity in options being a PhD student abroad is more. And apart from that, culturally speaking, most of the universities has very good international acceptance. So there are many international students starting from their undergrad degree. So even when I was teaching in the university, I didn't face any racistic issues, nothing. I didn't face any of that. And the university was very welcoming. And if you see their cultural fest, these international acceptance also will be reflected in that. So if you are interested artistically, then you have options there to explore more. So one thing I want to add is that at this age, it is important that we explore a lot because I did my schooling in Kerala, and there like all the people I knew were from Kerala. Then I did my bachelor's and master's in Pune. From there, like I got to know all the people from different states. Now I do my PhD abroad. So now I know people from many different countries. So the contacts I have will be very helpful in my career development. And one more thing I want to add to the gender point is that as a girl, sometimes it's difficult if you want to go for higher education. Our society has reached to a point where job is important for a woman, but higher education is still a question mark. Because one thing my sister used to tell me is that if for an MBBS degree, if 75% of the students are women, then for an MD degree, then 75% of them will be men. Because our society has restriction on women to get married at this age. So they will complete an MBBS degree and then they'll get married and they will pursue a job based on that. So this is the same issue with IISER as well. If you see the number of girls in IISER, it is definitely improving, but the number is less compared to the number of male students that are coming. The main issue is in IISER, after you graduate, the opportunity you have, the main opportunity you have is to go for a PhD career. So PhD is an educational degree again. You can say that you got a job if you go for a postdoc or if you go for an industrial research. So that is an issue for many parents because of this women marriage concern. So what I want to say is, if your daughter or if you're a girl, if you want to pursue, if you want to go for higher education, push yourself hard, and parents, let them push their hard and don't let the societal conditioning restrict them. That will like always reflect in our families, but I think we should not let that restrict them. So at least at this stage, the society has improved a lot, so they can push themselves hard for a higher education degree, rather than settling for an early job, getting married, and be settled as a family. That's all what I wanted to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Haritha. It was a very good message.
Yeah. You are a great inspiration for the upcoming students.
Thank you so much.